Lately, the comments on my videos have gotten really weird, and I'm used to strange comments. A lot of you seem to think I look like Bob Odenkirk for some reason. I really don't see it myself. But no, we're talking really weird. Not straight normal spam, but just names. Usually 3 to 6 names. Sometimes they look like first names, sometimes they look like last names, but they're just names with no links whatsoever. And then eventually, they disappear. So I've been wondering what's going on and digging into it. And so far, there's only one half-decent theory, and it still has problems too. So yeah, I've gotten all kinds of weird name comments like this one, and this one, and this one, and even this one that appeared when I was getting ready to film this video. It just showed up. But the thing is, with the others that you see, if you go and check right now, and I'm betting by the time I publish this, even this one, they'll all be gone. Now, I'm not deleting them, although I did do that at first, but lately I've been leaving them be to try and figure out what's going on, and they eventually disappear on their own. So what is this about? Well, obviously they're some kind of bots just leaving comments, but there's not a lot of consistency behind the user profiles being used to make these comments or even the names that they're leaving. Some of the profiles are older, but just unused, not even a user profile picture, which is not that uncommon on YouTube. Others are new, and in one case, I had someone leave a comment who looked to be hacked. Dig back deep into this profile and you can find a commercial essentially for a landscaping DIY take care of your house service, and that matches up to the name of the profile itself. But strangely, sometime after that, it started posting weird AI videos, and I mean weird AI videos that just did not belong to this channel, and it was clearly been taken over after they maybe abandoned it or something. But even that left one of these weird name comments. So what is this about? At first I assumed it was something to do with reputation. YouTube does run algorithms on your comments when you leave them to make sure that they're not spam. And one area is your reputation. How long you've been around and have you left a consistent history of high quality comments. If you do that, you get away with more of the brand new spammy looking accounts. But remember, those comments keep disappearing. And I can't say that that's Google taking care of it because Google isn't stopping this either. I also thought, well, maybe they're planning to change the comment later. This happens frequently. I've had a lot of people leave a first comment, and at first I ignored them, and then they got turned into click on my link for crypto scam when I'm not looking kind of comments. I no longer allow those. I just delete them out of hand. So if you comment first right now, I'm gonna delete your comment. But again, these comments are disappearing even before they can change into something else. This YouTuber has a pretty good theory though. So over on this HG Modernism channel, Hendry, according to the about info, says that she had 2 comments come through like this, but one was blocked. And the reason was her block list. You see, every channel can create a set of block words that prevent a comment from showing right away without the channel owner approval. I have a set that's basically mostly cuss words because my 11-year-old watches this channel and I don't want him exposed to that. And if you don't like it, too bad. But what Hendry points out is that her real name was in her block word list. And see, that's interesting. A lot of YouTubers actually don't advertise their real name. I do. I'm Josh, by the way, but that's because you can find me as a journalist online. It's good to have my real name out there. But plenty of YouTubers want more privacy and decide to hide their name. Just don't hide from the subscribe button. Go ahead and click on that and the bell while you're at it. And if you've noticed these Christmas trees behind me, well, they're the subject of the very next video to come out on this channel, where I'm going to throw down 3 different quality soldering irons and put them to the test. Yeah, it's true though. A lot of YouTubers do like to hide their real names. And one way they go about doing that is putting their first name, last name, and whole name in the blocked list. That's in case someone they know in real life happens upon their channel and suddenly says, "Hey Josh, it's great to see you. I know that you still live in Portland, Oregon." No, I don't. "And here's your address, and oh man, how's your mother with her maiden name?" and so on, revealing all kinds of information about you, not aware that you're not trying to give that to the world. So that just prevents it from being displayed. Now the way the block word list works is that comment will just be held for review, which is good because I have a lot of comments that get held for review that don't have cuss words in them. They don't have anything in them that's in my block list. I never know why, but I can go ahead and improve them, which is why sometimes your comments are held for a little bit. So here's the theory. The bots are testing to see if you have a name on your block list. First, they leave the comment, and then they essentially may go switch to a different profile and go see if the comment is visible. Because when they're held for review, well, they're not visible to the world. So it's a quick and easy way to check to see if it got held. And if it did, then the bot knows that at least one of the names left in this string of names was correct. And it can leave more and more comments to narrow down which one of those was the right name and try and determine what the last name is, or the first name if it happened to get the last name, etc. There are a few lingering questions with this theory, with things that don't quite fit. For one, I don't hide my name. You can find me online really easily. That is in part because I'm a journalist and I've written lots of different tech outlets, so of course I'm easy to find. But also, so are most people at this point. Have you ever Googled yourself? I bet you have. You know your name, it's pretty easy to get to you. But with some basic information, it's even easy to find out names without knowing them to begin with, which kind of is its own problem in itself. There are a lot easier ways to get a hold of this information, especially when, think about it, it always leaves a string of names. So maybe you got lucky on one of the names in the string, but then it still needs to narrow down more. And at best, maybe then you've got a first name or a last name, but you still need to determine the other part. So it's kind of a lot of effort, especially when you have to switch accounts and look for comments and take into account the fact that sometimes comments just don't appear right away for one reason or another. So it may be a false positive. It's a lot of work, which leads to the third question, of course. Why even do this? Phishing is my first thought, and that seems like the obvious answer, but with a first and last name alone and a lot of work to get there, there's not a lot you can do yet. Now, if you can figure out an address, a maiden name, a social security number, then you can go to town. And there is admittedly another worry. Sometimes getting a piece of information from here can help you get a piece of information from there. And sometimes compromising one account will give you everything you need to compromise another. If you get into the account that manages my cell phone, for instance, you can see the last 4 digits of my credit card. They display it openly on the main page. It's kind of frustrating to me. And you know what's really weird? When I call and ask them for help, one of the security questions they ask is, you guessed it, the last 4 digits of my credit card number. But they're not the only one. Lots of companies will say, what's the last 4 digits of the credit card that we have on file? Well, if they broke into my cell phone account, they have those and they can confirm that. That's how SIM swapping happens a lot of time. It's basic social engineering. We have all kinds of security questions that are based on information that isn't even that private or hard to get to. How often have you been asked by your bank to confirm your mother's maiden name? Well, that's a Google away. So the worry is, with this piece of information, maybe they can get a hold of another piece of information and put it all together. I'm still not totally sold because it's still a lot of work to find a low-hanging piece of fruit. Names are really easy to get a hold of. Yeah, we don't have phone books anymore, but they're still pretty easy to get a hold of. But it does leave us in an awkward position because it's still happening. Even today, I had one left on one of my videos, and it's weird and it's strange and it's concerning, and there's no real way to stop it other than amplify this to Google, hope they get a hold of it and figure out how to block these comments to begin with. And that's probably no easy task. How do you even do that? I can't even begin to comprehend the regular expression you would need to match up to 6 names that aren't regular words. It's just a nightmare to think about. So for now, the only advice I can hand you is delete the comments. In the past, I would have said, hide the comments, because then they don't know that you've done something. I hide comments all the time because, well, it's the internet and people are mean and nasty sometimes. But remember, the point here is to determine if a comment isn't showing to public. So if you hide the comment, it'll look like a positive, and then they'll keep trying, or they'll think they've got the right answer. I don't know. Hiding doesn't necessarily feel like the best answer or the worst answer. It doesn't feel like it does anything. So you might as well delete it. And beyond that, there's not a thing we can do. We really need Google to get on this, and I'm really curious as to what the final end game goal is. Because even this theory of trying to determine real names seems plausible-ish, but doesn't fully answer the question of then what? That's it for now, but I really do hope you subscribe to the channel. We have a lot of great reviews coming, and I really am looking forward to that soldering iron showdown. It's gonna be fun. Until next time, bye!